Ready?
Set. Welcome to Horrors Yet Unseen, the podcast where we assign each other horror movies to watch and then talk about it so our spouses don't have to listen to us go on and on and on about scary stuff they don't like. I'm Zach.
And I'm Steve. Let's talk about some scary movies. By the way, there will absolutely be spoilers in this show. You have been warned. Hey, Zach.
What's up, Steve?
I'm assuming now that May is your favorite month of the year.
May is definitely my favorite month of the year. I mean, I got married in May.
Oh,
My wife's
congratulations.
birthday's in May.
My wife's birthday is in May.
Yeah.
And my daughter.
Boom. There it is.
I wasn't going to get married in May because like weirdos do that, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I fully understand.
Now, for those who are just joining us, since we started 30 seconds ago, I was asking this guy, Zach, about that because the May is the movie he's going to review today. So
that's correct. That is correct.
Yeah. The masterpiece, the
100%
legend,
masterpiece.
the classic that is May.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Oh,
right.
you want to hear something funny?
Yeah, hit it.
Okay. So I was getting dressed today. I slept in kind of late because well, that's not the funny part. Hold on.
Okay.
I was getting dressed. I slept in late because I wasn't feeling great, but some kind of a little stuffy. But I got completely dressed and I came out of the bedroom and I'm like, oh, look, Chris, I've got like a black jacket on and I've got a black shirt, got black pants, I've got black socks. See? And black shoes.
Cool. Yeah.
So I'm like, you want to guess what color my underpants are?
You know, my guess is just a hot pink.
Oh, dang, that would have been a good idea.
That would have been an amazing.
Now I'm going to have to go buy some hot. No, they're black. Sorry.
They are black. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you and I have in common at the current moment. Both of us are wearing black underpants.
Well, this is information that I didn't think we'd get to this level of closeness this quick.
Listen, we're 47 episodes deep. We may as well talk about underpants. Last week we talked about old timey radio voice. This week, and then had to remind ourselves during that time that we were hosting a horror movie podcast, which made me laugh so hard. Right. We're like, what are we here for? And this week we're talking about what color underpants we have going on. We have nothing more to talk about, people. We have nothing to talk about.
It's just that we talk about the things other people are afraid to talk about.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's the spin. See, I just am Steve's the spinster of out of the two of us. He knows how to spin. He knows how to spin my bad idea into somewhat of a more palatable idea.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Dang it. I just realized something.
Okay.
It is December now.
That is accurate. It is December 1st.
Dang.
Yeah.
Boy.
The year's freaking over, dude.
Yeah. Wow. We might as well just hang up the.
That's it.
Hang up the something.
It's according to my year progress.
The year shovel.
My year progress calendar. It is 91% complete.
Really?
Yeah. I have this little widget on my phone that is a year progress bar, and it's 91% complete.
So what percent would you give this year so far?
What do you mean? What percent?
Like if you were grading this year like an essay.
Okay. You know, it's difficult to remember all the way back to January, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'd probably say this year up until what? Early November. The year was probably a B.
Like around November 5th.
Something like that. Just early November in general.
Just early. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, just in general. And then there was an event that happened
Right. Yeah.
that was not great.
Yeah.
And that probably marked it down. It didn't mark it down a lot because it's still pretty early. So let's say B minus. I'll say B minus for this so far year to date. B minus. Yeah. It's not been a terrible year. It's not been an A minus A kind of year.
Is it worth popcorn bucket?
Is this year worth a popcorn bucket? Oh, no, this year's
bucket?
not worth a popcorn bucket. I would not buy 2024's popcorn bucket, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a year. It's not quite a totally mid-year, but it's not garbage. It's a year.
Yeah, it's a year. I mean, oh, you're talking about like R ratings?
Yeah.
Oh, if I'm gonna go,
I am now.
Okay, I was gonna say. I thought you said grade. Like if you were in school, you were grading an essay paper. I'm gonna say B minus.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was expecting you to say.
If I'm going our ratings, then I'm gonna say. Oh man, I'm gonna say 3 because it's not worth another watch. This year's not worth another watch at 3.5.
Hell no.
Like it's not worth another watch. And it might have been until early November. Okay. Then I think that was what happened. Then probably was the gasoline can in the dumpster got knocked over.
Oh.
Then we'll get to early January and somebody will throw the match in. 2025 will be whatever it's going to be. Okay.
Yeah.
But 2024, I don't think 2024 was terrible. It definitely wasn't mid, but it's not worth another watch.
Yeah.
3 out of 5. I'd give this year 3 out of 5.
Okay. Wow. I guess that kind of uses up all our time for the podcast, I guess.
Yeah, right. Definitely. Okay. We'll see you guys later.
I'm just being a Chad. Wait, Zach or what?
Wait, what?
Whoever you are. Anyway, moving along.
Okay. Steve's hopped up on pain medication and cold medication.
I was gonna say, like you said, what it's gonna 25 is gonna be whatever it is, and I thought que sera, sera. Whatever will be, you know.
Exactly.
That song.
I've never heard that song.
You heard that? Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be.
Okay, I've never heard.
The future's not on. You never heard that?
No.
It's like from an old movie or something. But also, it's a version of it is done for the opening credits of From, the TV show, which I just started watching the 3rd season of this past week, which was fantastic and so sad. This episode I was watching, but it's a good show. So it's also very scary.
From is, from what I hear, very scary. Yes.
Yeah.
I still have yet to see episode 2.
Yeah.
And possibly the end of episode 1. I think I might have only seen half a actual episode.
Because of the gross deaths.
I don't. Nothing jumped out at me at first. So it's funny that there are TV shows that I'm fully in on. I fully love. And I will say to people who haven't watched them or whatever, you got to get past season 1. Like wait for them to really fully hit their stride. And it's because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because I've already seen all of the seasons and whatever. I'm fully invested. But new shows, really, it feels like they got a higher bar for me. Like I have I should say I have a higher bar for them. I find myself really getting like it's that quintessential in your 30s kind of settling into what
Mhm.
you like, or settling into you not really accepting any new kind of stuff. Like, it's difficult to make friends in your 30s kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
So
because your brain is finally settled down around the age of 25.
yeah, and so I'm finding that, like, we were just texting last night about, like, uh Abbott Elementary. It's
Yeah,
been on my list to watch, but for whatever reason, I have not pulled the trigger to actually turn on one episode. And there's no reason. There's no, like, if you were to actually ask me, well, do you have access to it? Of course, it's on one of the streaming services that we have, and we have the ability to turn on. I just haven't done it. Well, I
sure.
just watched the first episode of, or Casey and I just watched the first episode of St. Denis Medical,
Hmm.
written by some of the same people who write all of the other freaking
Yeah.
television shows that I know and love. But the first episode didn't get me jazzed, and we haven't turned on the second episode. And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm with. I have the same feelings about that show. Yeah.
so from it, I think I watched like half of an episode, maybe a full episode, that very first episode, and it didn't jazz me up, and I just haven't turned it back on. And that's not to say that I won't do that later. I won't do that later. But yeah, it also took me, like, I don't know. I think season 4 was over by the time I picked up Ted Lasso. Like, so
Oh, okay.
all of the hype was over for Ted,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, I'll watch it. But from episode 1, it had my attention, and I've watched all of it now. I'm going through.
Yeah.
Same with Dexter. I barely kind of got through Dexter when I was watching it, but I didn't start it from episode 1. I started it from whatever season, and I started to go through it about the same time that you did. I think you might have been just on season 2, right when I started season 1, and I watched the first episode, and that was it. I didn't pick it back up because for whatever reason it didn't jazz me up at the time. So yeah, I find it funny, my own behavior in that way. But I've rambled on now too long about old man things. So I genuinely feel like an old man saying all of that stuff. But
and get off my lawn.
Exactly, and get off my lawn.
Yeah, I was in my head. I was totally agreeing with you because on my side, from my perspective, I think the reason I watch or I give shows less of a chance, or even movies less of a chance, is because just there's so much to watch.
Yeah,
there's just so many options, and there's so many good ones out there. Like, I just googled it. There's like around 3,600 movies on Netflix, and like 2,500 television shows. Not episodes, but shows.
Yeah,
that's just Netflix, and so
that's like, currently on Netflix right now.
Wow. Yeah, they don't tell anybody exactly. So that's kind of the estimation amount. But yeah, the if I watch one episode of a show and it doesn't really just grab me, I'm gonna try something else. Like this morning, I was watching. I thought, I've got kind of built up lots of horror watching, and I once in a while kind of like to cleanse the palate with something funny.
Yeah.
So I found this, and I love Irish shows and TV and humor and everything. And so I found this Irish TV show called Frank from Ireland, and it stars Donald Gleason and his brother Patrick, or not Patrick. I forget. His brother plays Frank from Ireland. Anyway, great actors, and the show was funny, but it was also depressing because Frank's just a jerk. And I thought, I'm gonna move on. I'm sure it make it better, but move on.
Right.
So, yeah, just a lot to watch, man.
There is a lot to watch, and I sometimes find myself. I think you and I were talking the other day about like I think Casey and I watching movies together, and I said we don't watch movies together, like, because I will scroll through the first streaming service.
Yeah.
Realize that I'm only doing it for her and get to the end of the streaming service and go, did anything pop out of you? And she will think I've been looking at TV shows. Really, I've just been showing her what's on this service because I want
waiting for her to go, oh, let's watch that.
I'm waiting for her to pick because I know what I want to watch, but what I want to watch is very different from what she wants to watch. And, but also in doing so, like I'll discover things that I didn't know was on that streaming service, but I never will put them on my list, or worse, I'll put them on my list and then never get around to it. I did that when I first got Netflix. I put like a billion things on my list. I don't think I've watched one of them.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think I've watched one thing that's actually on my list. I forget that it exists. I forget that my list.
Go for like what's suggested.
Well, and what's crazy is no, not even that. Like I don't know. I think once The Office left Netflix, and I just purchased The Office at that point. Just bought it on Apple. We stopped going to Netflix on a regular basis. You know, I may or may not still have Netflix just because it's the cool thing to do. It's fine. Whatever. It's my finances. Leave me alone. It's fine. Whatever. It's fine.
I will say, if you're a fan of Michael Schur's work, which you are, like The Office and Parks and Rec and The Good Place, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The show that's just been released on Netflix, coincidentally, with starring Ted Danson and the guy who plays Rosa on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
It's called A Man on the Inside. It is so good, dude. It's like only got like 6 or 8 episodes or something, but Christy and I have been watching it, so it's really good. If you like the Michael Schur-verse,
I do.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So we have some news about a little app that some people may have heard of. We refer to colloquially as TikTok.
That is correct, Steve. We through just a tremendous amount of peer pressure and a sheer hatred for the starting another freaking social media account. We did it. We started one, and I was peer pressured into doing so by Steve. And turns out you were right, and we should have done this all along. And so, you can visit Horrors Yet Unseen. I believe that's I don't even know what the handle is, Steve. I honestly, God, I don't even know.
Horrors Yet Unseen. That's it. Yeah. At Horrors Yet Unseen.
At Horrors Yet Unseen. And, we're blowing up over there. And so we currently have 23 followers. That's fantastic. We've
cool.
had
I should follow us, huh?
You probably should. We've had this available to the public for all of like 3 days. So now, and we're at 23 followers. Yeah, so we got a couple of posts up there. Basically, I don't think we have any. I shouldn't say I don't think. We don't have any current major plans for this platform other than to copy and paste our Instagram posts. I think we might tackle the
just to make it easy at first. Yeah.
Yeah, the micro reviews. We might tackle those. And occasionally just throw a micro review in for a non-horror movie just to make old Johnny boy upset. John? Is it Jonathan? His name is so forgettable. I don't even know. Is it John?
Jonathan? Who are you talking about?
Who's this? Who's the guy? Who's the guy who yelled at me for posting about the...
Oh, Nick.
Nick! That's his name. Anyway. Because you got to give the haters a shout out. And,
you do.
So, also, I don't know him, so throwing shade his way is just one of the funniest things to me because I don't know him at all. Could not, if he were to come up to me and start talking to me, I would have no clue who he is. I don't know who he is, and it's just funny because I don't mean it. I'm just joking around.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started that. It's blowing up, Steve. We're going viral over there on the
Beautiful
on the TikToks. I think the biggest view that we have is 273 views.
Sweet.
And that's I did nothing. Okay, I did nothing to. I did find out the TikTok automatic. If you don't put a sound attached to it, it automatically puts a sound attached to your TikTok. I feel like a granddad who's learning TikTok. I missed the boat on this one. And
like a sound that you didn't choose?
Yeah, like I posted an image of, I think one of our, it wasn't a clip. It was like a still image of either our podcast from Spotify, or it was just the latest episode, episode 46 image, and it automatically found like a horror themed music.
Really?
Yeah.
It's weird.
And automatically put that to my, and I don't know whether that has anything to do with, I don't know what it's looking at. It has to do with something with the algorithm and whatnot, but I did that for the turdies. I just posted up on Instagram and up on TikTok that we got the turdies coming up, and it automatically selected based on the image and what I wanted to type out. It automatically selected the music. I did go in and put like award show music attached to it.
Yeah, you can unselect it
because you can but it automatically adds that stuff, and I don't know. I mean, you just told me the other day about the green screen feature. I've genuinely no clue how to do any of this. I'm 37 years old and I have better things to do with my life. So, but apparently now true. I got to freaking learn how to catch all the fish in the sea and blow up on, find out what popular songs are
we
there.
now have 24 followers. You're welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Steve. It still says 23 on my end, but
well, I did what I could. All I can do is click the button.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, we're now more accessible. I wait for your hatred comments and your bullying comments, and I can't wait for them. I can't wait for, and by can't wait, I mean I will immediately effing block you. I will. Because I don't have any time for that horse crap. Sorry for saying effing. That offended anyone.
I'm gonna have to bleep out the C word you just said.
Wow.
No, crap. Say crap.
Oh, I thought you, dude. I was like, I did not say the C word. When did I say this? Okay.
No.
All right. No. Well, moving on from the TikToks.
What's wrong with Creep 3 and 4?
Dude, they're terrible. They're freaking terrible, is what they are. Okay.
I just watched episode 3. Yeah.
It's not that good.
It's like that's mildly interesting. I didn't see 4 yet, but
here's my problem. Okay. Episode 1 was fine.
Uh-huh.
And it was because it reminded me very much of the first movie.
Right. Very reminiscent.
Not just in the killing, like, cause the axe apparently is his favorite weapon. I don't know. And it wasn't just that, but I think because it was, I think I was expecting it to be, each episode to be a little bit more unique than what it is.
Uh-huh.
There's a bit of expectation disappointment that I have. The first episode was the best episode. I think it went down a little bit with episode 2. Not very much, but down a little bit with episode 2. The thing that I like about Creep is the fact that I don't recognize the victim.
Like, not a famous actor or whatever.
Not a famous actor.
Huh.
And
Okay.
it's like whenever I see Samwise Gamgee in any TV show or movie outside of Lord of the Rings, I'm like, that's freaking Samwise Gamgee.
You mean Sean
what is
Astin?
happening here? Sean Astin, of course, yes. I said it purposefully that way
I know.
because
I was
it's like I actually appreciate, and it's not all the time, because like I appreciate what Daniel Radcliffe did post Harry Potter.
Oh yeah,
like
all
Guns Akimbo is a wildly different movie.
Yep.
Swiss Army Man is a wildly, he broke that Harry Potter mold.
Yeah, fast,
very fast. But all the while, you still like him from Harry Potter. You're like, oh, that's freaking Harry Potter right there. So I was just watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine last night, and it was Sean Astin was in one of the episodes. They were and I was like, that's freaking Samwise Gamgee. What are you talking about? I couldn't take the show fully seriously because I was like, that's because in my mind, it's
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, though, dude. I mean,
of course, yeah. And so as soon as I saw the victim in Creep episode 3, I knew him from a couple other TV shows.
Oh, really?
Yep. So he was the photographer in a couple episodes of the show Superstore.
Oh.
And my mind is literally blanking at the current moment, which is not aiding my point. The point that I'm trying to make is like I knew him. I was like, oh, so when he was the fact that he was going to be the victim, I was like, I'm not really on board because I know this guy.
Right.
I know the gambit. I know what's going on. Also, the fact that he was.
I mean, he's going to get killed.
Of course, you know that he's going to get killed, but I think there was something about I know him that took the luster off of.
Oh, interesting.
But it was also like when he finally did his gotcha line.
Yep.
I was like, dude, this is bad acting.
Yeah, I didn't think he was a very good actor, to be honest.
This is bad.
I felt like the little rant he went on about whatever it was. The rant he went on. Yeah. About priests and stuff and the Catholic Church. I thought this sounds like it's not good acting right now.
It's not good acting right now. Yeah, I was like, dude, just put an axe in his face and be done with it because I don't care about this guy. Yeah. Anyway, so, and then episode 4 was fine, but it wasn't good-ish. Fine.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't tell.
It was okay. I think I just had higher expectations because Creep was such a good movie. Creep 2 was okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was still a very different premise, though.
Right.
From Creep 1. It was a very different premise. Well, and I think I kind of expected... Maybe I'm just setting my expectations too high. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think everybody is... So the difficulty, again, is that I think partly is the TV versus movie format. We mentioned this last time about how it's hard to have something like part of the creep and factor of Creep movies 1 and 2 is that it's very long and there's lots of ups and downs and like, oh, what? And then back and forth. And then, but the intensity grows. And 25 minutes isn't really enough time for that. And
yeah.
I do like how they're going in different directions, like trying out the same dude's creepy and crazy. He kills them at the end. And I like how they're doing it a little differently. Like they're trying different ideas. Like, the guy, whoever the guy is, what's he go by? The creep guy?
He goes by many names. I call him Joseph because that's what he called the first one.
Most commonly. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So Joseph, he like pretends to be a priest who like wants to put out like a I don't know. It's a little different. I like that aspect of it, but the acting in episode 3 was what got me. It's like, meh. And it
Yeah.
wasn't scary enough.
It
I mean, these are
really
barely like, I don't know. I wouldn't call episode 3 scary at all.
No.
A horror, anyway.
Yeah.
That's too
It
bad.
was fine. It wasn't great. And
I could see each one of these 3 episodes that I've seen, so I could see them each as a good movie, to be honest. Like, if you stretched it out and maybe replaced the actor in the third one, I could see them being really good. It feels like they kind of sat down and said, what are all the other possible scenarios that Joseph could have gone through? And they got some ideas and they prioritized them and picked some.
yeah.
But I think that they're all thinking like movie length stuff. So
I
it's
also
not going to remove my joy of Creep, though. So
no, it's not definitely not removing my joy for Creep. He's definitely a great character.
Yep.
Very unique. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I think that there is something. The magic is in a full length movie, hour and a half, hour minimum. Because I don't think the first one is very long. I think the first one is only like an hour and 7 minutes or something like that. But it was enough. I just don't think that they obviously just don't have the budget. They want to
Right.
They also just want to try something new. Because at the end of the first episode or at the end of the first show, he goes and he's having a conversation with somebody else, his next victim, and he opens up the cabinet doors and puts in Aaron's DVD. And so I think you're like, oh well, they're just going off of that. Let's show you these home movies that quote unquote he's made. But I think that at this point, I would kind of rather them just do another full length movie.
Yeah.
Unless episode 5 and 6 are going to really end on a bang or end on a cliffhanger, I kind of actually, to be honest with you, I'd like a third movie where they kind of pick up where 2 left off.
Yeah. Be cool.
I
really like that.
I don't know where you would go with any of that kind of stuff. Maybe the fact that it is this unanswerable cliffhanger is the better idea. Or maybe Creep has, honest to God, maybe it's just run its course. Maybe
I also wonder if that's why they only have 6 episodes. It's not a lot, really, and not a lot at all.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they're like testing the waters, sort of,
right,
with this style thing. And I don't know. Well, maybe we will see a third movie after a while. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it could be. They could be testing the waters with just a different medium, and the medium is just let's just do some TV. Yeah, it's not bad. They're not bad. The first one was fine, or the first one was good. The second one was okay. The third one really took a plummet because I didn't think that the acting was great, and I thought the premise was good, where he plays this, but he's also moving around. I have a bunch of questions, like how is he renting all of these houses?
Where does he get his money? I mean,
where does he get his money? What is he? Because he has at least $1,000 because in several of the episodes he hands out $1,000 cash,
I'm guessing.
which he kills the person and takes his money back, right? But yeah, I want to know what his job is. What is his day-to-day like? Also, with the second one, I guess we're going back in time technically, because the second one, the opening scene, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And then he reveals to that girl that he's an actual, like, America's most prolific serial killer. And she survives. Yeah. So I want to, what the heck happens there? Did she go to the police? What's happening? Yeah. Anyway. That's creep. It's fine. It's okay. I'm hoping episode 5 and 6 are really knock it out of the park. Good.
Yeah.
But that could also be my incredibly high hopes for this character that I really enjoy, because it is creepy and it is awkward and uncomfortable and
the character's the same character. He's just as creepy and awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's no, we're talking about it's a very interesting kind of case study in having a character and a story style and a length and all this stuff that just it has to all work.
Right.
You can have the best character in the world who you just don't get the whole full vibe of it unless you have it in the right setting, or So
I think it'd be nice to put Joseph up against somebody else very much like him. Like,
see, I thought that was kind of where this was going to go in this one. This is episode 3. I thought they were going to have a guy who's going to not be a murderer, but he's kind of like, oh, gotcha guy, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more scheming or something. I don't know. Maybe we will see in episode 5 and 6. I don't know.
Maybe we'll see.
Well, let's hope. Oh, so I have not seen Nosferatu's Popcorn Bucket, which you put on the list here. Let me Google this. What's the deal?
Nosferatu. So I wrote down that Nosferatu's Popcorn Bucket is the best popcorn bucket so far. Like, out of all of the popcorn buckets that I've seen, I think that Nosferatu's Popcorn Bucket is the best, mainly because it's not phallic shaped. So that's good. It's not the alien phallic shape. And the Coliseum is pretty cool, but I did hold one the other day and I was like, this is actually not that cool. It's cool that you can scan the QR code and there's like a little bit of an AR experience that you can have. Because I think they fight in the Coliseum or something like that when you scan the QR code, which is a cool idea. But
this is like a coffin.
Nosferatu's Popcorn Bucket is Nosferatu's Popcorn Bucket. Or no, stop, Zach. What the heck is going on? Nosferatu's Popcorn Bucket is Nosferatu's coffin.
Right. That's cool.
I think that is pretty sweet. It genuinely makes me want to go get it. I'm already going to buy a ticket. I think I'm going to go maybe sometime over Christmas break.
Yeah.
And see
I
it.
might do that too. Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that I could just get one. I mean, they're only like $25, but still, I think Nosferatu's Popcorn Bucket would be pretty sick.
Yeah. Huh. It's cool.
Yeah. That was it. That was the only
Regal Cinemas. That's for Regal Cinemas.
You got to be freaking kidding me, dude! Stop. Why? This drives me nuts.
Let me see if there's an AMC one.
No, I don't need an AMC one. I only have one theater around me, and it's Cinemark. It's the best theater. It's the best.
It looks like it's going to be the same, probably. From what I can suss from my 10 seconds of Googling.
Yeah, well, okay, well, thanks for dashing my dreams against the rocks, buddy.
Oh, Zach. Oh, buddy. No.
Well, that's the most patronizing thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay.
Oh, buddy, sad. Don't be
all right,
so
well,
sad.
If you're listening to this
so
and you
sad.
love me, you'll send me one.
Zach. I think it's the same thing. AMC's the same. So don't worry. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
Dude, I told you, Cinemark. It's Cinemark. That's where I go.
Cinemark? Oh.
I don't have an AMC around me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm totally missed.
The closest AMC is like an hour away.
Oh, wow. That's too far. Well, yeah. It says Cinemark is going to have the same thing.
Feels like you're just
so Regal Cinemas just must have got out in front of the press crew before everybody else.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well,
yeah. Good luck getting one of those.
I'll still go. I'm still going to go see the movie. I think that it looks. I'm very curious because they've been hyping it up a lot. I'm very curious if it's going to be the giant dud, because typically movies that are hyped up a lot are sometimes, or I shouldn't say, yeah, they're sometimes duds.
Yeah.
because they don't put a lot of what they don't put into story. what money they don't put in story, they put into marketing. And
Well, yeah, I get it.
I've heard that about Red One. I've heard that Red One is not very good.
I've heard both things. I've heard the review that sticks out to me is this movie is everything that's wrong with Hollywood right now.
Right. Yeah.
And yet I also heard that it's just fantastic. So
yeah. I mean, buff Santa Claus doesn't really jazz me up, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
But also,
what kind of Santa Claus jazzes you up, Zach?
Well, the one that kills children in a mall.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Didn't see that one coming?
No, I did not see that one coming.
Dude, I got to tell you, that scene still sticks with me because he freaking blew those kids up, dude. He blew those kids up.
Yes, he did.
And that's such a wild jaw-dropping premise. Yeah. Yeah, Art the Clown Santa is possibly the best Santa. Though Mel Gibson did a very good job, I think. Mel Gibson did a good job. Have you ever seen that? Have you seen that one yet?
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay.
I did.
Very convincing that you watched it, okay?
I did. I'm not going to tell you how much I didn't like it, but it's fine.
You didn't like that one?
It was okay.
Come on. Listen, it's about some whiny brat kid who didn't get what he wants. Some rich brat kid who didn't get what he wants. So he hires an assassin to kill Santa. And that is a crazy premise.
Yeah.
And also Santa is Mel Gibson. What else do you need?
I didn't. You don't want me to get into what I think about it.
Dude, I gotta know. We have to talk about it.
One sentence. It's the most MAGA Santa movie ever. Moving on. Okay. Excuse me.
Well,
let's talk about what we watched this week.
Let's talk about what we watched this week.
Sorry, I didn't mean to shut you off there, but
you did.
All right. Since it's last time we recorded was the earlier this week, last week, the 24th. So since the 24th, did you watch any football on Thanksgiving? First of all,
I watched all 3 games on football.
All the football. Wow.
Yes,
it's like 30 hours of viewing.
Yeah. They weren't consecutive.
Okay.
I mean, just intermingle with family and blah blah blah, whatever.
Right,
but
right.
What
else did you watch of those since the 24th?
I haven't honestly watched a lot. I watched my assigned movie that you gave me. It's called May.
Well done.
Last night I watched Beetlejuice.
Oh, is that in the theater or is that online now?
I rented it. It's like $5.99 on the Apples, and it's not that bad.
Not that bad as a raise. It's just sounds so positive.
Well, here's the thing. I enjoyed the first one, as did a bunch of people. Then 25 years later, you decide you're going to make another one, and I'm like, hold on, time out. What's up? And it wasn't bad. I think that Tim's use of practical effects, it was a very Tim Burton-esque movie.
Mm-hmm. He directed it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Oh my God.
Okay.
I love that. I knew that I was right, and then you said that and made me doubt that. I was like, wait a minute, am I missing something?
It's probably a really horrible thing. I don't know.
You just gaslight me into thinking that I'm wrong, but I'm really right. It's fine.
Convince you to gaslight yourself. Yeah.
It's really funny. Beetlejuice. I'd recommend that movie. That was a great movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think it's pretty great. I watched Thanksgiving. I rewatched Thanksgiving.
Yep.
The Eli Roth movie. Still 100% implausible.
Oh, of course.
that she gets cut in half.
Absolutely. That's got to be like 1,000-pound like lid.
Well, it's not only that. So the lid is back, because I really broke this scene down because it bothers me. It genuinely bothers me.
I haven't seen it in a while, so go ahead.
The lid is fully open. The
Mm-hmm.
trash can, the dumpster, is not up against any wall or any fence or anything like that. And he takes a 1,500 to 2,000 pound car and drives it almost full speed, 20, 30 mile an hour, which is full speed for what you want to get done. Maybe he hit 40 up against this trash can. And the trash can barely moved. But yet the lid, with full light speed force, came down and cut this woman in half. And I was like, nope, the physics isn't adding up for me.
Yeah.
And it genuinely takes away from the movie. On top of that, the acting is not necessarily great. But it is a fun watch. I will say the second time watching it, I did slightly feel the same way that you did about the mom being turned into a turkey. That was very disturbing the second time around.
That's hard.
Yeah. So, yeah, I watched that. Casey and I went to see Wicked in theaters.
Yes.
And I cried several times throughout this movie. I'm not going to lie to you. Aww. Wicked it holds a special place in my heart. This the happy the happy, joyful side of my heart. Before, what are you talking about?
Before you saw the movie, it held a special place, or
yes.
So you've seen the play, or
I've never seen the play, actually.
Oh,
I've never seen the
Wicked
play.
held its place in your heart before you saw the movie.
Yeah.
How? So explain this.
Okay, so I'm not going to get into the full story because I'm going to ramble on forever.
Okay.
I fell in love with the soundtrack.
Really? Okay.
Yep. So I enjoy musicals. They're fun, right? And I fell in love with the soundtrack. Like the original Broadway recording, Kristen and Adele Dazeem, and
who were in the movie, by the way.
Well, I don't know if we're supposed to say that out loud, but yes, they were in the movie. It was amazing.
Well, spoilers,
it genuinely made me cry. Okay, and so I literally grabbed Casey, like I grabbed her leg, and I was like, "Oh, look at that!" Like it was so.
So you're
cool.
Totally geeking out,
dude. I was geeking out. Though I will say, anybody who I was going to throw a popcorn bucket at somebody who started singing, don't start singing.
Did they start singing?
No one started singing ever. It was a packed theater. It was fantastic. I don't know. I like I've never had the opportunity to go see the musical yet. And, it's on my bucket list. I really want to go see it. I'm fully reading the book because I have the book. And, but yeah, there was just something about the musical, soundtrack that I really enjoyed. And, I don't know the full story because, my brain won't work sometimes. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed, Wicked Part 1. I enjoyed the title card that was, a nod to The Wizard of Oz. And, the opening, Universal, whatever that is called, the studio,
like the intro video thingy.
Yeah, what are those called? I don't have no clue what they're.
I don't know. Pre-reels.
Yeah. But the fact that it was like this mixture of old school, new school kind of thing, I enjoyed the Jeff Goldblum-ness of this movie.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah, it was just a good time, and so we went to see that. It was fantastic.
That's cool.
Did not realize that the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Dude.
I did not realize that.
For half the musical?
For half of it, yeah. And so I don't like this is peek behind the curtain. Nod to Wizard of Oz. Peek behind the curtain. I don't like to start movies in theaters past 7:00
Yeah. Well, I'm old
because
enough that I can. Yeah.
I can't do that. The closest theater to me is a half an hour away, and movies are getting longer. We've officially switched from hour and a half movies, and this was back when hour and a half movies were still the standard, and 2 hour movies were a dime a dozen. And so but we went to the theater at I think the movie started at 7:25, which means that 20-30 minutes in, that's when the movie actually starts because freaking commercials and previews. And it was a late one.
Yeah,
somewhat
we
difficult
were
to drive
planning
home.
to go see it too, and I'm glad you texted me. You're like, "Hey, heads up, it's this long." Like, oh crap, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
so we adjusted which one we went to because of that. So
yeah, because I wasn't thinking. I was thinking maybe it's gonna be 2 hours. Now it didn't feel 2 hours and 40 minutes in the theater,
right.
But yeah, it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. And anywho, those are the 4 movies that I saw since Christmas. I've seen probably a myriad of different TV shows and whatnot, and other stuff. But I've been talking too long. So, what did you watch, Steve?
Well, I watched Wicked, and which was great. I really liked it. And then I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula, the old from 1992.
The old one from 1992. Okay.
Yeah, it's. Oh, you have. Yeah, you see it.
Yeah, that's Gary Oldman, isn't it?
Yeah, I still think it's one of my favorite. I think it's maybe my favorite vampire movie. It's really good.
We were talking about that the last time because of Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's kind of what made me want to. I signed up for MGM Plus for like a month because there's not generally a lot that I want to watch on there, but there happened to be a bunch of stuff I wanted to watch that's on there. So I thought I'll pay $7 for the month instead of like the 3 movies that I want to watch. It'd be like $5 a piece to rent.
Right.
Plus, I can watch season 3 of From, and which is I'm really enjoying. So I did that, and then but I was flicking through and I'm like, oh, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I used to have a tape of that back when tapes were a thing, and
wow, VHS
videotape, yeah. And I watched it a lot, but it's only when you are watching it with another family member, like my daughter was watching it with me, that you're like, oh, I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
Like, Keanu, don't touch those women. They're all naked and bloody and fangy.
Right.
Anyway, but in general, it's a great movie. I like it a lot. Mm-hmm. And I watched Spree, and I watched Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind. Sorry, let me say that again. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. It's one of Miyazaki's first movies that he made. Hayao Miyazaki is the guy who he's Studio Ghibli, basically, is his thing. And this is before Studio Ghibli, but it's super, super good. My son kind of pressured us into it. He's like, you guys got to watch this. I'm like, fine. Because it's his favorite Miyazaki movie. Total.
This is that movie that you told me about last night.
Yeah. He was like forcing us to watch, right?
Right.
Yeah, he really want us to watch this, so we did, and it's good. If you've seen the show Scavenger's Reign,
nope,
which is on Max, Habo Max, that is one of the best sci-fi depictions of what I think like another world might be like another planet. And there's a lot of it borrowed from this Nausicaa Valley of the Wind because it's a 1984 movie, anime movie. But the it's really good. It's you have to check it out. That's all I'll say. Check it out. That's all I saw. So I've been kind of watching more TV stuff and trying to like read books and do puzzles and things that are not all movies, but So yeah, that's what I
Cool.
saw. So shall we move on to the next thing that we talk about, which is the assigned movies?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I think Zach, you have the honor of telling us about May.
Yes, I do,
Take it away.
Steve. All right. So, Steve, you assigned me the 2002 classic,
Mm-hmm. Classic.
May. The movie's called May. M-A-Y.
Right.
It has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 75% audience score. It is a 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd and a 6.6 out of 10 on EBDB.
Right.
The Letterboxd synopsis says, if you can't find a friend, make one. A socially awkward veterinarian's assistant with a lazy eye and an obsession with perfection descends into depravity after developing a crush on a boy with perfect hands. I'm going to give a 5-star review to the synopsis of this movie.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't tell you exactly how weird and odd and quirky this movie is.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's weird. So I decided to attempt to write a spoiler-free review of this movie. Right. And then I realized it's impossible. And so I asked Gemini to write Google's AI. I asked Gemini to write a spoiler-free review of this movie. And I'm realizing that spoiler-free reviews of movies are basically us talking about the cinematography of the movie and the themes of the movie, and has nothing to do
and the
with
acting prowess.
The actual, exactly. It has nothing to do with any of the plot. It has nothing to do with any of the substance. It has nothing to do with the premise of the movie whatsoever. It only has to do with the score. It has to do with all of the aspects of the movie.
Like the technical aspects of like what makes it a movie.
Right. And in that, I think if we ever do spoiler-free reviews, I'm just going to stick with Gemini because I am an idiot and I have no clue what I'm talking about.
Let Gemini teach you.
Yes. So Gemini, according to Gemini, this is my spoiler-free synopsis of this, or spoiler-free review of this movie.
All right.
Or summary, I guess. May is a haunting and unsettling film that delves into the depths of loneliness and obsession. It's a character study that explores the mind of a troubled young woman named May, portrayed with chilling intensity by Angela Bettis. The film is both disturbing and oddly endearing, as it navigates the fine line between empathy and horror. I'm not too sure that there's a fine line, but according to Gemini, there's a fine line.
Okay.
While the film's pacing is deliberate, of course it's deliberate. Come on. The humans. Oh my gosh, dude. Gemini. While the film's pacing is deliberate, it builds a sense of dread and anticipation. The unsettling atmosphere is further enhanced with its dark humor and grotesque imagery. May is a unique and unforgettable cinematic experience that will linger in your thoughts long after the credits roll. I feel like that's a staple of any non-spoiler review. Like
it is. That's why I put it in there.
That sentence is it's hilarious to me. It's a film. Period. No, I'm just kidding. That sentence doesn't make any sense. It's a film that challenges the viewer to confront the darker aspects of human nature and consequences of unchecked desire. And that is not only the spoiler-free movie summary, but
totally unhelpful.
Well, it's not. No, actually, that last sentence was actually what this movie made me think of. So, spoilers ahead. Skip to the next chapter, if you don't want to hear my spoiler filled review of this now. May, the character, developed. So she is a perfectly fine person. She's a perfectly fine girl. Her mom, though, has some real unchecked trauma.
Yep.
And she passes that trauma off to her daughter. So the only thing that's wrong.
The case.
Yep. The only thing that's wrong with May, and the wrong is in quotes.
Okay.
The only thing that's wrong with May growing up is the fact that she has a lazy eye. That's it. That's it. It's not bad. It's not quirky. It's not wrong. It's not terrible. But her mom has this weird obsession. Her mom has these weird issues. She passes those off to her in the form of obsessing over the fact that her daughter is not this perfect person, but she has this lazy eye. And she also introduces her to the idea of like, if you can't, it's that opening line, if you can't find a friend, make one. So her daughter passes this doll that she handmade, the mom handmade, off to May. And by the way, dolls are already creepy. But handmade dolls, I mean,
yeah, they're next level.
They're next level. Next level.
Yep.
And so, also, if you have a keen eye, I will say this. If you have a keen eye, you will know that this entire movie will get spoiled for you in the first 5 minutes of the movie. I knew exactly what was going to happen in this entire movie in the first 5 minutes. Just in the... Yep. As soon as the mom said, if you can't find a friend, make one, I went, May's going to cut up people and she's going to make her own doll. As soon as... She was like, here's this doll that I handmade. If you can't find a friend, make one. And I was like, May's going to cut up some people because this is a horror movie. If you have a keen eye. And I mean, if you got 2 brain cells beating around in your head, you can put this together. It's not hard. It reminded me very much of like Ari Aster movies where he basically shows the entire movie in the first couple of seconds of the freaking movie. Yeah. So if you just pause Midsommar as he goes across that mural, you're like, this is the whole movie. This is the whole movie right here. So, anyway, I wrote down an entire breakdown of this movie because I actually really enjoyed this movie. And I wanted to pay homage to it by fully breaking it down. So here we go. This movie is about a girl named May. She is messed up because of her mom making a big deal about her lazy eye. She grows up without any friends or boyfriend. She works at an animal hospital with a foreign doctor and Anna Faris, who, by the way, timeout. She's completely typecast as this completely stupid person. And it genuinely bothers me.
What do you mean typecast? Or like stupid, like set up as, or?
So, okay. I think my first introduction to Anna was a Scary Movie.
Anna?
Yeah, Anna Faris.
Who's Anna? Oh, yeah, right. She's in this. Right?
Yeah.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
And she she always seems to kind of play this ditzy, completely airheaded person.
I missed that part for some reason. I thought you were talking about the main character.
No. That's a different actress.
Now I know what you're talking about. Typecast. It's a ditzy one, right?
Yeah. I actually literally wrote that down. I'm not too sure this type of dumb person even exists out in nature, and it's really sad to me. Like it's not sad to me that they don't exist. It's sad to me that Hollywood portrays the people as these completely airheaded.
Yeah, I mean, they have to take they accept the parts. I mean,
I guess they accept.
She's as long as she's been doing that kind of a part, she must be just like enjoying leaning into it.
I guess, I don't know. Anyway, May completely stalks a boy who has hands. That's it. He has hands. They're not beautiful hands. They're just
as opposed to most people she meets.
Yeah. There's nothing unusually pretty about his hands, but he has them. At one point, she goes up to him at a restaurant because she's stalking him. She goes up to him at a restaurant and he falls asleep in a restaurant. He falls asleep. And he falls asleep with his hand in the air because, normal sleep position, apparently.
Sure.
And she puts her face in his hands while he's sleeping. I'm not sure why no one at the restaurant said anything about this because she's completely acting weird. She starts to date this boy and sucks at kissing. Her doll told her how to kiss. Oh,
She's so crazy.
Yep. Oh, let's back up. At the beginning of this movie, her mom gives her a handmade doll to be her friend. It was her mom's friend, and now it's May's friend. I know what you're thinking. Is the doll creepy? To which I would say, how dare you judge a doll? And yes, that doll is freaking creepy. It's a handmade doll. It's a lifeless humanoid handmade doll. And it's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Annabelle is less creepy than this doll.
Agreed.
So she starts to date this guy. I think his name is Adam. I don't know what his name is. Anyway, she starts to date this guy and acts completely crazy about his hands. I mean, she's acting like she's never seen hands before. This is the quirkiness of this is the quirkiness of this movie. Is that she's acting like it feels like perfect acting because it feels like she's genuinely acting like she's never had a boyfriend before. Yeah. She doesn't know how to really be. So she's fully like, even just outside of like the kissing and the whatnot, like it's not, I wouldn't classify it as obsession, but it's not obsession. Right. It's just, I don't know how to describe it other than just you have to watch this movie because it's like she's acting like she has never, and that's why it's perfect. She's acting like she's never dated anybody before because she hasn't. It's like somebody is infatuated with her.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't know how to she doesn't know how to be around them. It's loving the puppy too much that you hug it and squeeze it and break its neck kind of thing. Right. You don't know how to be with it. And it's perfect acting. She does a really great job. Anyway, back to the review.
Agreed.
Where the heck am I? He disappears. So she starts dating the guy. She's acting crazy about his hands. He disappears because she might murder him. No, he disappears because she's a bad kisser. So she stalks him again and waits outside of his house for 2 hours. Just stands on the doormat for 2 hours. Whoa. I actually wrote down the word whoa. He shows her a movie. They get back together and he shows her a movie about a couple on a picnic and they start to eat each other. Like it's a black and white film that he made and they start to eat each other. They start making out and May bites his lip and makes him bleed. Then she rubs his blood on all over his hands and herself. He reacts completely normally by dumping her because WTF, bro.
Right.
Like, this is crazy.
It's an appropriate reaction.
She literally says, "You just made a movie about this. Like, I'm just doing your movie. Don't you like it?" And I thought you liked weird things. And he's like, "This is too weird." Because again, he acts completely normally. Like, this is a completely normal reaction to what just happened. With his blood all over her face and neck. Like, it's weird. Anyway. She goes right back to stalking him and finds out that she's been dumped because she's standing outside of his house again, and she hears the conversation between him and his friends. She then connects with her female coworker, who turns out to have liked her this entire time, and she kisses her. May tells her coworker that she has a pretty neck. And again, I immediately went, she's going to take her neck. Her neck is gone. But when May finds out that the coworker hired a prostitute, she goes deeper into insanity. She kills her cat by throwing an ashtray she got from a blind girl. And if any of this is sounding completely disjointed or crazy, that's exactly what I'm going for, because this movie is insane. So basically what happens is, like, she finds these people, these kids who are playing at a park, but they're all blind. And you're like, why are they playing at a park? They're all blind. I don't understand what's happening. Why is nobody watching them? Because they're all blind. They might get hurt, right? It's a normal thought you would have.
Sure.
So she wants to go and help out. So this blind girl is making an ashtray, and you're like, well, that's odd. How does she know that it's an ashtray? Because how is she even making anything? Because again, she's freaking blind. But
she can feel things.
I know that she can feel things, buddy. I'm just saying, like, it just seems odd to me. It only adds to the odd quirkiness of this movie.
I think that's what they're going for. Yeah,
that's exactly what they're going for. So she takes the doll to show the blind kids, which might sound like a bad idea, but because again, they're blind. Why would you take a doll? Like, again, also this doll, I didn't say this. This doll cannot be, according to May's mother, this doll can't be taken out of the box. Mom has made this wooden box with glass walls and a glass door, and the doll can't be played with. You can't take the doll out of the box.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's going to take this doll to show these blind kids and they can feel the doll. So what happens next is obvious. They want to feel the doll inside the box. But May is like, no, she can't be taken out of the box. And again, apparently May is the only one watching these blind kids, and they are ravenous over wanting to feel this doll. So they rip the box out of May's hands, and the doll goes flying. The box goes on the floor. Glass shatters everywhere, and you would think some sort of supervisor would come in and be like, hey.
You would think
this would be a normal reaction. That's not what the movie does, though. All of the blind kids start feeling around on the ground with all of the glass shards everywhere. Everyone gets cut up, and everyone's bleeding everywhere.
Yep.
Their knees, their hands, their face. It's crazy. And I think the doll gets broken at this point. The doll is, because the doll is May's friend, May basically turns into the doll. Like, May starts to emulate the doll in her mannerisms, in the way that she looks, all of that stuff. So the fact that the doll gets broken is a metaphor for May's psyche. So May's just starts to really unravel at this point. Anyway. So May goes home and scratches her eyes out.
As you do.
Yep. Because again, the doll is broken and May's psyche is starting to fracture.
Right.
She scratches her eyes out and cuddles up with her dead cat. And
Has she killed anybody yet?
Nope. She gets up the next morning, covered in blood, hasn't worked in 2 days, all cut up from the glass and scratches. But don't worry about little old May. In the immediate next scene, she'll be just fine.
She's sitting some time, right?
No? There could have been some time. Who knows if there was some time? Because typically, when there's time, there's a couple words that come up on the screen. It's like 2 weeks later. That was not here. It was. I have no reason to guess that it's not the next day because this movie is a giant weird thing. So, she's sitting on a bench when a goth skater with too much hair gel in his hair, or too much gel in his hair, comes up and wants to cheer her up because May is completely nihilistic at this point. She's like, nothing matters. Yep. Everybody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I want to kill myself. Basically.
And you can tell because she's like wearing darker clothes.
Yep. They go back to her place and he's too hot. So, like a normal person, he wants to rub ice on his nipples.
I mean, as you do.
Not weird at all. So he goes to the freezer and May's like, hey, don't open that freezer. And he's like, why are you being so weird? And she's like, no, don't open it. And he opens it. And there's a dead cat in the freezer. Because again, where would you put it? Right. Where would you put this cat? It was at this point, 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 14 seconds that I literally paused the movie and laughed out loud and said, what is this movie? Because this movie is freaking crazy. Is Ice Nipple Man gonna be cool about the cat in the freezer? That's a good question.
Is that his name in the credits?
I don't know, man. Is he gonna be cool about the cat in the freezer? Nope. He goes from I want to cheer you up to what the heck are you doing with the cat in your freezer? I don't want to be your friend anymore because you're a freak. It's at this point that I had two thoughts. First, she has been bullied her entire life. Bullying isn't cool. I'm actually surprised she hasn't ended it all because she survived up to this point because her life has just been hell. Mm-hmm. It's been really cruel. I wrote down, we need to stop bullying. We have to stop bullying. We have to stop bullying people.
Absolutely.
So this goes back to the end of the Gemini review where the film challenges the viewer to confront the darker aspects of human nature and the consequences of unchecked desire. Like, because I realize at this point, I'm watching somebody really try to hold it together. Mm-hmm. So I put the weirdness aside and really went deep into this and was like, I mean, this is a pretty accurate because there's nothing wrong with her. All she wants is to be seen. Mm-hmm. She just wants to be accepted for who she is, not what her mom has put on her and all of this stuff. But
at the same time, it's weird. She's weirdly obsessed with perfection, right?
But that's because I think that's because her mom has put so much emphasis on the fact that she is like her lazy eye makes her imperfect. So she values people who are perfect.
Right. At one point she's like, she and Anna Harris are kind of like kissing or something. And she sees like this, like a mole or something on Anna Faris's finger.
Yeah,
and she's like grosses her out. Like the whole thing is like it's over. Because
right. She's at one point she goes and she measures Anna Faris, right?
Right.
And she measures her arm and she sees the mole and she says, "What have you not thought about getting this removed?" And she said, my grandma told me that it's the imperfections that make people who they are. Like it's the complete opposite of what her mom taught her or what her mom superimposed on her. It's a healthier way of looking at it. And yeah, anyway.
It's like Anna Faris is her had she had a different childhood.
Right. A better childhood. Yeah. So, anyway, we need to stop bullying because she isn't really a freak and deserving of the bad things that are happening to her. She was born with parents who, are just freaking weird and had their own complexes. My second thought was, she's definitely going to murder him at this point. Like, she's fully fractured. She's on the point of, like, ending it. He comes along and is like, hey, I want to cheer you up. Finds the cat in the freezer and is like, no, get the heck away from me, you freak. So, she grabs a pair of scissors and stabs him in the hand and the head. Let's speed through now.
Okay.
She then kills her coworker, Anna Faris, the prostitute, Adam, her boyfriend, and Adam's new girlfriend. She then cuts all of their desirable parts up. And by the way, all of this is now happening on Halloween because that's apparently the perfect time to get away with genuine murder because no one's going to tell the difference between fake blood and real blood. And she's walking around with a cooler, like an igloo cooler.
With blood all over it.
With blood all over it. And so she sews all of these parts together, all of the arms and the whatnot. And she realizes that the doll can't see her. Because again, that's what she wants. She wants the doll to be the friend that she's always wanted. Because she just wants to be seen for who she is. So she gives the doll her glasses. But the glasses are the thing that pulls her lazy eye and corrects it. So now without her glasses, she looks in the mirror and starts crying. Then she takes the freaking scissors and cuts her eyeball out, her lazy eye out, and puts it in the doll and then lays next to the doll crying and whatnot. And the doll comes to life, touches her face and caresses it. And that's the end of the movie.
So she imagines anyway. I think that's her imagining it.
Of course, this is her imagining it. Steve, this movie is a 4 out of 5. This movie is fan-freaking-tastic. It's so good. It's so good. And the reason it's good is because it's so quirky and there is some real meaning behind it. And I wasn't angry with the meaning. I appreciated the meaning and
good.
And yeah, I felt for May. And the fact that I had this emotional response, that it was just this wacky it was a horror movie because she cuts people up, right? But it was also this like weirdly humorous movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm giving this movie a 4 out of 5. I think that barring the fact that I literally just ruined the entire movie for everyone, I think people should still go see this movie.
Absolutely. There's so many you can't hear everything. There's so many interesting scenes and yeah. It's a great movie.
And you also where the movie is going,
right?
Because the first 5 minutes really paint that picture for you,
right?
And
but she foreshadow. There's no actual violence until like way late in the movie.
There's not violence until the last maybe 10 minutes of the movie,
right?
And yeah. And but I think the first person that she does kill is the Mohawk hair gel guy.
Right.
And from there she just kind of gets this plan to go, it's Halloween. So I'm going to go and kill all of these people. Pieces. I'm going to collect these other pieces and take and build my own doll. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the doll, you're right. It is completely imagined. The doll comes to life and, because
Yeah.
So
Is the friend she always wanted.
It's the friend that she's always wanted, and it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway,
well,
that was way too long, but I felt I wanted to pay homage to this movie because it was hilariously stupid, and I loved it. I loved the ridiculousness of this movie. I loved the horror of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was very clear that it was fake blood every time. It was very clear that it was fake blood. There was a B-ness to this movie.
What?
Like a B level, like
like B movie,
but it wasn't bad. I don't know. It was a good movie. I could keep saying it's a good movie until the cows.
Was it a good movie, Zach?
Dude, it was a good movie. Anyway, I'm gonna pass it over to you now. I appreciate the fact that you allowed me to watch this movie. You assigned it to me. It was good because you said I've gone easy on you over the last couple of weeks, so I was expecting something way darker. And the fact that this is what I got, okay, I'm not begging you to give me something way darker. Calm down.
Yeah, what I meant by easy, it's like this one takes some thinking and some like contemplating a little bit, and like it kind of, to me, it's something about it makes you kind of force yourself to analyze it a little bit.
Yeah,
and it's not the message it's trying to get across is not so like you said, not so in your face and preachy or so obscure that it's impossible to understand. So it's a good balance, I thought.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I probably would not have watched this movie on my own, so I'm thankful that you assigned it to me. It's a good movie.
Well, you are so welcome.
Yeah.
Let's hope I can keep my string of one up.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to talk about mine. So, Zach, I had the 2020 classic Spree, directed by Eugene Kotlyarenko.
Great. Okay.
Eugene. Anyway, Eugene, and starring Joe Keery, the guy who is Steve in the Stranger Things.
Yep.
And this was filmed right before the poop hit the fan with lockdown and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out to the general public during the very beginnings of lockdown. So a lot of people saw it. I thought this was actually filmed during like kind of the tail end of lockdown, like a lot of really niche, like a lot of movies like this were kind of released around that time or recorded around that time, just because it's mostly like from a social media perspective, like you're seeing screen recordings basically of a lot of like Instagrams. It's like fake things in the movie, but it's basically Instagram Live or Facebook Live or whatever. Lots of live streaming stuff, lots of posts from different things, and it's a found footage movie, and it's really interesting how it's set up. But I'll get into the spoiler stuff in a bit. But in general, it's a movie that, let's see, the ratings from around the world are that it has a 66 reviewer and on Tomatoes and 61 audience score, and that matches up pretty well with the IMDb of 5.9. 7% of Googlers liked it. Letterboxd 3.1 stars, and out of 5, and Steve Martin's review is 3.5 stars out of 9. I thought I really enjoyed this. Yeah, is that the work of a popcorn bucket yet? Yeah, that is worth another watch. I wouldn't quite buy the popcorn bucket, which would probably be I don't know. What would the popcorn bucket be in this, Zach?
The popcorn bucket, man.
Like a big finger, like a like finger that you like pull in half, or
yeah, that would probably be it. Some sort of, it has to do some sort of social media. Yeah. Some sort of social media.
Or his car with blood all over it.
It could be.
Yeah, so the synopsis of the movie from Letterboxd is murder is trending. Desperate for an online following, a rideshare driver has figured out a deadly plan to go viral, and he will stop at nothing to get his 5 minutes of fame. I thought Joe Keery did a fantastic job in this movie, I will say.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. I think it was a very different character from Steve, and even a couple of other things I've seen him in, which I can't quite think exactly what I've seen him in. He was in Free Guy. Saw that. I've seen him in several TV shows other than Stranger Things, I think. Anyway, he did a fantastic job. Like, he really got into the character, I thought, in a really, really good way. As far as, I kind of felt sorry for the guy, I think, at the right time, because it starts out the movie explaining, no spoilery stuff yet, but it starts out the movie kind of showing how he's been trying to build this Kurt's World 96 online. He's trying to build his audience forever. He's been doing it for 10 years on YouTube and all these places. And he's got maybe double-digit recordings or followings once in a while. Like, you get the vibe that he's like on a Twitch stream or something, and he just cannot get views. And he, and it just makes you sad. It's like, this guy wants to be accepted and like adored and loved so badly, and he eventually gets to the point where he's like, I've got an idea, and it's interesting, it never really says what his idea is, but he starts killing people to get views. And right. The ironic thing is that nobody realizes it's killing people until like the very end. So yeah, I thought the filming so, as I've said before, I'm not usually a fan of found footage movies, and I maybe I need to amend that, because maybe I am. Maybe I should say maybe I'm not a fan. Because I'm not like, ooh, found footage movie, let's go check it out. I usually am very suspicious of found footage movies. I'm not sure why. Somebody must have hurt me in the past. I'm not sure. I'll talk to my therapist about that one. But yeah. I go into movies that are found footage like very, very suspect. Kind of like if it's Blumhouse. If it's a Blumhouse found footage, good luck. Yeah. But I end up liking a lot of them that if they're well done, I should say. So like this one, is well done. The pacing is really well done. It's not a long movie, like 93 minutes, but it goes through really well, and it has a good bit of a twist at the end, sort of. It reminded me a lot of Sissy. Remember that movie, the Australian movie? Did you ever finish that one?
I did not finish that one yet.
So this goes really this would be a good double feature with Sissy, because that's all about her trying to get likes and stuff on her yoga page or whatever it is, and ends up killing a bunch of people and comes out looking like the glorious winner at the end, and it's like the last montage is identical, very, very close, not identical, but very close. So yeah. Anyway, that's like kind of spoiler free-ish. That's really it's a good movie. It's not super gory. I mean, there's blood on the outskirts. It's more of a this is a creepy situation. I watched the trailer, and the trailer does not really do it justice, because the trailer makes it look like it's like, ooh, lots of jump scares and creepy stuff, but it's not. It's very low key, but it's not disturbing. So
of course
it can be concerning for it at times, but anyway, so I'm not gonna do a full breakdown, but kind of high level, and so spoilers from here on the movie Spree. Let me take a drink because I'm talking.
Yeah, I understand that. I wish I brought up another water. My throat's super dry.
I got one. You want it?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Here you go. Okay, Spree 2020. So as I said before, Joe plays a guy named Kurt. His full name is Kurt Kunkel. And I hope his middle name is not like Kevin or something. That'd be really unfortunate. Doesn't really get to that point. But Kurt and his dad is played by David Arquette, which I thought was cool. And Sashir Zamata it plays Jessie. She's like a Jesse Adams. She's like a stand-up comic, which is funny because Sasheer Zamata is also a stand-up comic, and you may know her. She's on Saturday Night Live a lot. Black lady on Saturday Night Live, and she's really, really good. And but a lot of the like throughout the movie that shows about like at several points, it shows a bunch of clips of her like doing stand-up, and those are actual clips from her doing stand-up at random places throughout her career. So that really went well. Anyway, as I said, he's down on he's depressed. He's like, I'm going to quit doing this. And he thinks of an idea. He's like, I've got an idea. And so he starts to teach a lesson. So he calls it the lesson. And he starts trying to teach people how to get views, sort of, or something. It's very confusing what the lesson's about. But like how to do what he's doing. And I like the way it kind of plays out, because it doesn't just say, okay, I had an idea, here's what it is. But it shows you him implementing the idea. And the idea essentially is killing people who join his rideshare. It's like this fake rideshare is called Spree, like the movie. It's not Uber. It's more like a Lyft kind of situation, because there are times you can get like a social ride, which means it's cheaper, but you have to be with other folks, kind of like a cab. And so he poisons his water, which I gotta say, it's got to be the most potent poison on the planet, because at one point, like the guy takes like one sip and he's like, "What's going on with this?" And he dies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he kills a couple people, but it's not even clear he kills them. I thought maybe he was just knocking them out and dropping them someplace. But he will give them the water, they'll die, and then he'll pull up their phone and give himself a moderate tip. And then he'll like say they got off and they were done, and he closes it out so it's not like linked to him at all. But I mean, it's going to get linked to him for eventually, because it's on camera. It just shows you how crazy this dude is and how desperate he is to get attention and likes. Because it's so obvious that he's killing these people, but like I said in the previous section, nobody realizes it's real. There's even a guy who he babysat when he was a kid, when the kid was really, really young. But now this kid is a streamer on his own and has a large following. And so he like tries to get this. He's always asking people like, "Hey, tag me in your thing," or whatever. And even he doesn't think that it's real. And he keeps tagging this other guy all the time. And it gets to the point where he keeps having to up the ante, make it more intense, make it more crazy. And the guy, his former babysitting kid, he keeps like pushing him. He's like, "This is lame. Do something interesting. Make it shocking." So he goes from that and to one person, he picks up 3 people and has them stand up in the sunroof of the car that he has. Yeah. And he drives them into this like super sketchy, like what's a wrecking crew junkyard. Thank you. Junkyard. And he parks it, and like these pit bulls just destroy these people that are outside of the car. And he drills a lady in the head, and then it's like it just keeps intense. And at one point, he this stand-up comedian, Jesse Adams, played by Sasheer, she gets in the car, and as part of a rideshare like social thing, and she almost dies, but he doesn't want her to die because he wants to like tag on, like link onto her social media following. He thinks that all he needs is the right person to tag him, and he's off and running. And so she gets mad enough at the guy who's in the car with her, being like misogynistic and kind of racist or whatever. She gets out of the car and almost drinks the water, but throws it back at them. And of course, that guy gets killed. Kurt runs over him with this car, and I think that's the first like brutal kill it shows. And she leaves, but he knows that she's going to be doing a show that night, so he finds where the show is, and in the meantime, he also goes over to his former babysitting client's house and kills him on his live stream. Everybody thinks it's like, wow, that's really cool. How'd you do it? It looks so real. And he takes the guy's camera and his setup, and it's like he's streaming on both platforms now. And then he goes and there's this Korean influencer that he finds, and he accidentally ends up picking her up in his car. And it's a whole long thing there, but she accidentally shoots a cop in the head with the gun that he has. It's like, what the? And then he takes off, and at that point, he's like definitely under suspicion. Yeah. And he like accidentally wrecks the car after running through a bunch of homeless camp and like killing who knows how many people there. And then shows up at Jesse Adams' like stand-up routine thing in LA. And side note, when we went to the Comedy Factory in LA, the whole setup that was exactly like that, like really bad comedian first, and like the lights, it was the whole setup was exactly the same way. It was very interesting. But he almost kills her, but she doesn't die, and it's like this whole thing. Anyway, at the end of it, she ends up killing him because he picks her up again in his car accidentally after getting another guy's this other wide ride share called GoGo. He kills a guy from GoGo, takes his car, picks her up, tries to kill her. She gets him back and kills him in his house. And then his dad, the guy shoots his dad. It's like everybody dies except for Jesse. And then at the end of it shows like this montage of Jesse getting massively famous because of his death and how she saved so many people by stopping this killer who's on a spree of killing. And so, which I thought was interesting because the whole movie is like pointing toward how dangerous this desire for like likes can, like where it can lead you, like the things people do and how they will betray their family, their parents, and everybody, and just start, like killing people like he did just because he wanted attention. And then she kills the killer and she gets the most attention. It's like, it's kind of an indictment on social media and just showing how brutal it can be and how like senseless it can be, really. Anyway, I thought it was really well done, but like I said, the upping the stakes along the way was well done. It wasn't like too much at once. It was very steady along the way. It was believable. Mm-hmm. And it was believable, honestly, that nobody realized it was real until a cop got shot in the head. It's like, oh, now let's take it seriously because the cop died. Right. So anyway, there's lots of social commentary layers on that one, but yeah, it was a good movie. Like I said, about like on the scary level of things, like if like I'm not a lot of jump scares or anything like that. I can't remember any jump scares other than just like the shock of things once in a while. Like, wow, that's horrible. Right. It's horrible. But yeah, well done movie. Yeah, I liked it for 3.5.
3.5.
Yep.
Well, you can follow us at Horrors Yet Unseen on TikTok. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to promote our, because you were like all the horrors of social media, and I'm like, that was the joke.
And I noticed that you said your review of this movie was, I'm not too sure how to feel about after this movie, and like lots of dots.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel after, because it was I don't know, my first viewing of this. What was my rating of this movie? Was it high?
You had 3.5.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad movie, but it left me feeling all sorts of things, and I needed to really process it and sort through it because, I will now go back and take notes of what he did so that way I don't make those same mistakes as we try to grow our social media.
It's really easy. It's really, do not kill people.
Okay.
How
else are you supposed to grow it, buddy? How else?
Zach. There are plenty of horrors that we have not yet seen that we don't now need to create one of our own.
Okay. Well, to each their own.
Check in with you. I'll check in with you next week.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I had avoided this movie for the longest time because
For real.
yeah, because I don't know, it was found footage, and I am racist against found footage movies apparently,
Wow.
and I it just sounded like kind of like a dumb, like hard to maintain concept or premise.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, how long can they go with that? And that's like, he's going to do one thing and people are going to catch him. But I didn't really think about the fact that nobody knows what's real anymore and nobody believes anything anymore. So,
Yeah.
and that's 4 years ago. It was filmed in 2019. So 5 years ago, this was made. And I think that it still is relevant, for lack of a better term, these days. So well done, Joe and Sashir and David and all the other folks with this movie. I've never heard of the Eugene Kotyurenko before, but I might look into some other stuff just out of curiosity. So yeah. Have you had time to think about what this movie is to you, Zach, or you still not sure
No.
how to think?
I forgot about it immediately. I think that was early on in my Letterboxd like account career, and I realized like I don't really care that much. Like shortly after that, I don't really care that much about writing a review on Letterboxd outside of just giving it stars and being done with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Cool.
I forgot about this movie immediately.
That's
not because it was a forgettable movie, but just because I moved on with my life.
Yeah, I get it. Well,
I'm gonna rewatch it again, or at least I shouldn't say that. I should rewatch it again and try to meander through that.
I mean, there's no should. Should is dead, man. We don't have time for that kind of crap.
Yeah, well,
good enough to do. Well, let's talk about next time.
Yes, next time.
Sound good? Take it away, Zach.
All right, buddy. I have spun the wheel of destiny.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to give you a movie that on my list What the heck? Are all those gone? Dude, did I not save that? Son of a biscuit.
Oh, no.
I'm going to give you a movie that on my list is technically classified as a D-. And by give you, I mean it was on my list and fate chose it.
Fate,
and
I'm sure.
I think it'd be real funny.
Darn fate.
Yep. The movie is called Countdown from 2019. It's a D- because it's a 1.9 Letterboxd rated movie.
2019.
2019. It's called Countdown.
Death. There's an app for that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of these. Okay, they know when they're going to die.
Uh-huh. You download the app and you know when it tells you when you're going to die, and
oh, it's on Netflix. Good.
havoc ensues from there.
All right. It's a D-, but you rated it 3 stars.
It's not.
We're allowed to change.
Yeah. Well, it's not D- because I gave it a D-. It's D- because it's a 1.9 rating on Letterboxd.
Oh.
So the letter grades on my little spreadsheet here are based on.
Oh, I thought they were based on yours.
Nope, they're based on other people's reviews. So it's a 1.9.
You may not necessarily agree.
Yeah, it's a 1. That I rated it a 3.
Okay.
So I don't agree with the 1.9 rating. I think it should be higher, but it is technically classified as a.
Okay.
But that was also first viewing, so let's put that in perspective.
Oh, this is stars the gal who's in the TV show You. Have you seen that yet?
No.
It's on Netflix. It's a horror. It's like a scary, like serial killer situation.
I've never seen it.
It's good. I'd recommend it. Okay, cool.
There you go.
Countdown
Countdown.
2019 by Justin Deck. DC. Cool. All right. And Steve is going to give you a movie. Oh, hold on. Let's click the wrong button. Come on. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I'm going to go with Caveat. In 2020. Caveat.
Caveat
Damien
from 2020. Okay. A lonely drifter suffering from partial memory loss accepts a job to look after a psychologically troubled woman in an abandoned house on an isolated island. Dude,
what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Exactly. That's a freaking recipe for. Also, how desperate do you need it for a job that this is the job you're taking? Come on. You deserve to die. At the end of the day, this is you're gonna die. You're gonna die.
Absolutely. So you've got to make it all the way through this movie. It's a bit slow at the start, but trust me, it's worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first review of this movie says nobody is using the glory hole the right way. I do not know what that means, but I think it's a really funny review.
Oh, that is funny.
Where may I find such a film? Is it on
Shudder?
Shudder.
Mm-hmm. I would also recommend not watching the trailer.
Oh, I never do that. I jump right in.
Just checking. Don't watch the trailer. The trailer, I think, gives away too much. It sets the wrong tone.
Got it. Oh. Yeah, I typically would just jump right into to those movies. If I've not seen them, you may as well just jump headlong into something.
Absolutely.
Like it's the same as accepting a job at a psychiatric hospital on a deserted island. What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
Come on.
Absolutely. Cool.
Well, I want to plug real quick. We got the Turdies. We got the Turdies coming up. It's our year end awards.
Correct.
And I'm super excited about it. I just posted today about it, and by today I mean December 1st, not the day that this is going to air, which is the 7th. Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I'm also looking forward to season 2. So,
of us,
2025, exactly, yeah, of us, yeah,
right,
and what all that's going to look like. So,
sweet.
Anyway,
well, have a dandy afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you, and
yeah, it is evening.
Yeah, it is. It's still daylight here, but that doesn't mean much. So.
Yeah.
What horizontal are you at?
See, what?
Which parallel are you at? Like, we're like 45.
I don't know.
Like, if you're looking at the globe.
Yes.
And you looked at a map.
Why don't you figure it out and you tell me? What parallel am I at? I don't have a clue.
Let's see. This is important podcasting information here.
Yeah, this is pertinent to. Yeah, depending on what parallel you're at, will depend on the horror level for your state.
You know what's interesting, Zach?
What?
You and I are on the almost like identical. Hold on. Wow. You and I are so close on the horizontal measurement of the globe. Right at a 40.
Fantastic. Yeah.
40 point something. Don't be creepy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the reason I'm asking is like when the things get dark, when things are not dark, like when the sun goes down for you.
Mm.
And you're right. You're exactly the same vertical. So you're not. I keep thinking of you as up north. I don't know why, but you're not. You're just right over there.
I'm just right over there.
But you're just way over there, which is not any farther north or south than me.
Hey, Steve.
Hey.
I was just waving to you, even though you're on the camera.
Oh wait, you are. Oh wait, there you go. You're right over there. Hey. Oh, we better go.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, man.
Bye.
All right, listeners. That's a wrap for another episode of Horrors Yet Unseen. Thanks for joining us.
And we'd love for you to become part of the conversation. Just drop us a voicemail at 1-216-202-5495 or email us at horrorsyetonunseen@gmail.com. And keep up with the latest by following us on Instagram. That handle is at horrorsyetonunseenpod. We'd also appreciate it if you like and review our show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your support means a lot to us. See you next time.